Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Tanya Hoffman's Fabulous TV show with the incredible, fabulous guest star today, Miss Shantae Taylor. Yay! And of course, y'all know that I always bring on an amazing guest, and I'm really excited. Miss Rosemary Barnes is going to join us in a minute. But this is what it's all about, is helping you figure out things, helping you with your life, your business, something to help you create momentum in your life. And that's why I wanted Shantae to come in today, is to kind of help you with that, is to kind of give that amazing opportunity to go, oh my gosh, I have the ability to change lives today. And Shantae is incredible. She runs around the world speaking. So Shantae, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and what you do and how you help people?
Yes, thank you, Tanya, for having me and providing this wonderful platform for, people like myself to share my message, which is, I would have to say, unique, not to toot my own horn, but I am actually a neuroscientist. And I am also a mindset success catalyst, a speaker, an author, and I have used my knowledge. I have reconfigured my knowledge and skill set in order to empower people with the knowledge of how their mind works, how their brain works, because I truly believe that the brain is the center, it's the control center of everything we do and everything we don't do. It's the start of where our decisions are made, where our imagination is to become, more than we are. Some people want to be average in life, but when you look around the planet and you see, life being born, when you see, trees that are 100 feet tall that started off as a seed, you'll realize that we weren't designed to be average, because nothing on this planet is average. We are designed to be great. We have the seeds of potential within us. And the way I, guide people and show people and lead people to their greatness is through the greatest technology on the planet, their mind and brain. And when we start to learn more about how it operates, all 100 billion brain cells, it will go the distance for us if we dream a little more, if we imagine ourselves, a little bit better each day. If we can see ourselves on the stage, if we can see ourselves writing our story in a book and then sharing it with the world, we can become that. We can do that. And it's in everyone.
And we really are that, right?
Yes.
Oops, we got some echo going here. There we go. So, one of the things that I see a lot is, I just went to a huge conference in Oakland, and here are all these incredible people that are ready to change lives. But what really comes about is that they have to change their life first. They can't start with changing other people's lives until they start changing their own, right?
Oh my gosh. That's a story of my life, and I'm sure yours as well. There's only things that you will be able to share once you go through your own journey. There's only gifts and talents that will be revealed when you start that new journey. I mean, that's why people call it your gifts. That's why it's called a gift, okay? A gift is supposed to be open. It's supposed to be unexpected. It's supposed to be a surprise. So if you don't have unexpected things going on in your life, if you don't have any surprises going on in your life, that means you're not challenging yourself. That means you're not doing something different, special. And you are keeping yourself from unwrapping those gifts that will only be revealed when you start walking a new path.
Well, and I found that I got an echo with you, Miss Shantae, and I'm not sure how to get that. So I'm muting both of us back and forth just so we don't get that.
Oh,
so, one of the things that, I really do, and I totally agree with all of that. I've got a little stick-it note. I need to make it into an official sign, but it says, wow yourself every day. Right?
Yes.
So, don't you try to figure out how to do that for yourself, because that really makes you push yourself.
Absolutely. The brain is lazy. Okay, let me just be honest here. Where's my motto? So I always have a model of the brain, right? So we have a higher advanced part of our brain, and then we have our primitive brain, right? Our instincts and even our emotional brain is from that primitive, ancient side of us. But our higher order thinking brain, the most advanced part of the brain that's responsible for our higher level decision making, our ability to imagine ourselves, in another place, imagine peace on earth, all that stuff, that requires a lot of mental energy. Okay. So when we are not pushing ourselves, that means we are not operating on this higher level of thinking, of awareness, of making decisions, of changing our habitual patterns that keep us in the average state of mind. So if to wow yourself every day, that means you have to do something unique every day. You have to challenge yourself every day. You have to push yourself every day and break up those mental lazy patterns that our brains have evolved over time.
I totally get it. And one of the things that, my goal is the same every year. And everyone's always like, well, that's a horrible goal if you never are changing. But my goal is to look back at the year before and not recognize myself. This is me in 2005. And you're like, no way, because that is about really changing and pushing yourself. You can't move from where you are to where you want to be unless you really push yourself. And at the end of the year, you should look back at yourself and go, oh my gosh, look at me back then. I wouldn't have even thought about doing whatever you're doing now, right? That's when you know you've really made a difference.
Absolutely. And it's a more fulfilling place. Even though the front part of the brain is lazy because it wants to reserve mental energy, it also wants to be inspired. It's almost like the CEO of your whole brain. It wants to be inspired. It wants to lead. But if you don't give it instructions, if you don't tell it something new and different to do, it's not going to do anything. But the more we are on the path of fulfilling our passion, of making a difference in other people's lives, the more filled up we become, and we don't, spend our time and energy on those things that are depleting us, And, sometimes we try to fill ourselves up with stuff, with food, with people who don't serve us because we have this emptiness. But I guarantee that the emptiness will be fulfilled once you start inspiring your brain, start imagining something better, start realizing that you're made to be above average, and you'll start fulfilling that void.
I think, too, a lot of it is about getting connected to people that are in that realm, right? A lot of it is people feel very isolated and alone as they move up because they're kind of leaving people behind. And I know I really struggle with that, because I was like, here's my girlfriends, and we were all like at the same level, right? Actually, they were a little bit ahead of me. And then I caught up. And then, in 4 months, I'm like going, and I'm like, come on, right? What are you waiting for? And they wouldn't. And then in 2 years' time, I'm running around the world speaking, and they're out of business.
Yes. Yeah. That is, I talk a lot, especially lately, about the entrepreneurial mindset. It is absolutely essential to immerse your mind around others who are going on your journey, who talk like you do, who are reading the same things you're reading, who are trying to figure this thing called entrepreneur and business life out, because it is a different mindset. And you got to have those conversations. You got to share your wins. You got to share your losses, and everybody won't get it. But it's so crucial for the brain and mind to, have that camaraderie and be able to get things, out and figure things out. Because that's a part of the journey, right? That's a part of the challenge. That's a part of becoming greater, is being confused, and having new wins, having new things to celebrate. But you can only do it with a certain type of mindset. Joel Osteen once said, he said, you can't expect to soar with the eagles if you hang around with chickens. And
exactly.
That's deep, right? When I heard that, I was like, whoa. Because if you think about it, chickens have one mindset and eagles have a whole nother mindset.
And also a different experience, right? The chickens
Absolutely.
are on the ground, they're looking
Absolutely.
down, right? They're looking this close
Yes.
to the ground, right?
Yes.
And where
They're
eagles are up
releasing.
floating, right? It's
Yes.
just a completely different perspective.
Absolutely. They take risks. They go on adventures. They're willing to, see things they've never seen before and just have faith that, their wings will carry them. That's huge too, just having that belief. And you don't find chickens on the dollar bill. I'm just saying.
Right. That's
So,
good.
but it's not that you have to cut people off. I think people need to understand that. It's just that on this part of your journey, you are in exploration mode and you're doing certain things.
Yeah.
And maybe they don't see the vision because it's not meant for them to see your vision right now because you're trying to figure it out as well. And just for this time, your paths have, split. But that doesn't mean you won't meet them later on. But it's so crucial to let go of those mindsets because they will project their own stuff on you. They'll project their fears, their doubts, they'll question what you're doing. And you got enough of that coming from yourself. So that's why it's important to be around like minds who will encourage you and give you, ideas and advice and hear you out,
And you really have got to push yourself, to make sure that you are connecting into, multiple people that will give you real feedback, right? It's about making yourself really uncomfortable about being around people that are much more ahead of you and asking them for help. And I know especially for a lot of us, it's hard to ask for help and hard to kind of create that momentum for ourselves because we're afraid of the reaction. We're afraid of what they're going to say. I was sitting next to Scott Schilling, which is another thing, by the way, sit next to the most amazing people in the world. And Scott has sold more from stage than anybody else in the world. He's incredible. And nobody knows his name because he's not wanting the kind of people that wants to be the celebrity. He doesn't want that kind of status. But he's got incredible knowledge. So I just sat and just asked him questions during a whole event, right, to see what his reaction was. And then when I got on stage, I asked him, would you please give me some feedback, right?
Yeah.
Can you give me some, what your opinion is on my presentation? And it was great information. I mean, this is the kind of information you can't even buy, right?
Yes. Oh my God. What did he say about your feedback?
He loved my presentation. There was one spot he thought I could frame it better. And so I'm like, okay, how does that work? How would you suggest I reframe it, right? And he goes, well, that could be your selling proposition. He goes, that was a brilliant moment. You just didn't take it to the sell. And I'm like, I never thought about that section being a sales moment, right?
Oh, that's golden information right there.
Exactly.
Oh my God. And that's the thing. You would have never sat next to him if you didn't have the courage to step into your authenticity. And that is one of the topics of the day, being authentic in your visibility and rolling with it.
Yeah, and getting out of your way. We get in our ways too much. It's amazing how people get stuck on something that really has no value to their life, which is usually their past. You could use things and you could use stories of the vulnerability of those moments, but realistically, you've got to get over those past things that is in the back of your mind and saying, I can't, I won't, I'm not ready. This Tanya in 2005 wasn't ready either, but I still pushed myself to do everything anyways. No matter how scary it was, like, oh my gosh. And sometimes it was stupid scary, right? Oh my gosh, a guy in a tie, you're like, why was that scary for me?
That's the fear brain, right? The fear brain doesn't get modern times. Okay, the fear brain only knows, what is considered a threat. And getting on stage and sharing your message is not a threat. It's a win. It's needed. It's serving at a higher level. That's why we can't let the fear primitive brain rule us anymore. You know, we have to rewire that part of the brain to show up in a different way. No brain. We have to use our higher CEO brain to tell our lower brain, no, we're in modern times. We are not running from the bear. Fear is important. If you're in a dark alley, which you shouldn't be, late at night, maybe your fear senses need to be on alert. But, starting something different in your life, writing that book, what's the worst that can happen? Somebody will read your book. Somebody will hear your words on the stage and resonate with it. Maybe you'll change somebody's perception and view of themselves or view of the world and go a different direction because they heard your authentic message.
Exactly.
You have the guts to share.
Perfect. Rosemary, oh, there she is. Yay! We can see your pretty face. I didn't realize the egg was you, or I would have accepted you earlier.
That's okay. That's all right.
Yay, we can hear you too.
Technology is not my friend. I have a love-hate.
Yes, I totally get it. Believe me. And it's always great when you get through that hump. I always find this hump that I'm in with technology or anything, doing something new, and probably Shantae could kind of resonate with this is, oh my gosh, this is my first time to do fill in the blank. And there's this, I remember the first time I did Skype. I don't know why. It was in that fear mode, right, Shantae? It was like whatever the fear is, like I'm gonna be doing Skype and I'm gonna be talking to somebody in England and in my time zones and then I get on and we do it and I'm like, oh, it was a phone call. It was like this aha moment. It's like, why did I get myself all hyped up about it?
Right.
Crazy what we do. So Rosemary, put in your website so everybody who's listening can easily click on it and go to your website and find more about you. And then if you get a chance, also share on Twitter and Facebook. And we would love for you to do that.
Okay.
Alrighty. So Rosemary, why don't you tell everybody about how fabulous you are? Because you're and everybody, this is the fabulous guest star, Ms. Rosemary Barnes. Yay! So tell us a little bit about you and how you help people.
All right. Although I feel like at the moment I've just interrupted Shantae in a very bad way.
Oh, no.
We're good.
All right. We're good. First of all, just purely because it's Rosemary, not Rosemary. And
sorry.
Secondly, Confidence Stages offers me as a speaker and a speaking coach. When I speak to the changing leadership paradigms for the 21st century. And I speak to Confident Reinvention, which is about the changing paradigms of the 21st century. How many hats do we all wear? And how many different personas do we have to supply at the same time? Very much like you were talking about, Shantae, with your authentic self, but still with a different hat. Mm-hmm. The trick is that you have to decide for yourself which hat you're going to be wearing and not have it forced on you. That means living aware. That means understanding that it's your fear that drives most of your decisions, as you say, and it's the fear that stops us. We don't know why we want to do it until we dig back, peel a few layers of the onion off, and we find out that primarily we are fear-driven and fear-retreated. So as soon as you realize that it's your fear talking, then you can take it back and find out what it is you're afraid of, really. Is it some deep subliminal thing from when you were 2 and your mother said, bad girl? Or is it that you were bullied over some comment that you made? But the point is that you have to take charge of your life. You have to take charge of you. You get to decide, okay, this served me then. Now I need something else. And it's up to you to find out what that something else is. And it's up to you to find the way to deal with it. So it's a little bit about change management. It's a little bit about awareness around you of what's going on so that you can be ahead of the change, proactive instead of reactive, and taking charge of your life and taking charge of your fear.
Nice.
So when I'm talking about the leadership paradigms, then I'm talking about understanding that we have generation X, Y, and Z all working under the same roof.
Yes. Right.
More different sets of people would be difficult to find than in other times, because every set of those people has a different set of values. To understand what motivates them, how to lead them, how to get them to lead, you have to understand their values.
It was really interesting too, because like I was just in, Oakland at this big conference, and there's people that are 20-year-olds all the way up to 70-year-olds, and they're still trying to assimilate the conversations and the information from the speakers, all together. And you see how they have this struggle going on right in front of them, right?
Right. Yeah.
Well, just take for example the cell phone. Now, how many people that are, heaven forbid, my age or gasp older, look at the kids doing their texting and communicating while something else is going on, and you're going, no, pay attention, one thing at a time. No, full focus. And the kids are going, what? I can focus on 17 things at a time. I've been doing it all my life. I don't just have one phone. I have 4.
Exactly.
And they're all going at the same time. And then people from the old timers, from the baby boomers and the Generation Xers, who were taught to keep your nose to the grindstone. Work is a means to an end. The new generations are no, work is the end. I get my satisfaction through my work.
Yeah.
And then there's another generation that says, I don't care. I'm just here to earn $1. I'm on the way to the beach. What do you do? And here's the really tricky one. What do you do when an older generation needs to be led by a younger generation?
Yes. And you see it a lot, you see it from stage, you get all these different types of people. And one, speaker is going, hey, everyone, take out your phones. Let's take pictures. Let's tweet. Let's interact while you're listening to my presentation. And then immediately after that, the person's like, okay, everyone put away your phones, all electronics off, and you're getting this mixed signals. It's like this crazy world right now.
That's right. And so you get to choose. Choose which one of those camps you want to live in. Reinvent yourself before someone reinvents you for you.
Right.
I think it's already been done. And I'll tell you what I mean. I wrote a book for Gen X. Okay. Mm-hmm. Because there's probably only 3 books in the world about Gen X, because you don't really hear about this generation. We're smashed in the middle of, 2 very prominent generations, but we are totally left out the conversation. And Generation X doesn't even know they are a generation. You don't know how many times I've, talked about it there, and people will ask me, well, am I Generation X? So that's how lost the generation is. That's how underserved Generation X is. And people are just not paying attention. So if people are not paying attention to us and we're not paying attention to ourselves, then we don't even know that there's something more in us. Because like you said, we were taught to follow the rules of society. We were taught to go to school, get the job, work your job for 30 to 40 years. But at the same time, sometimes we were told you can be anything you want to be. Girls can do anything. You're right. But make sure you still follow this plan. So now Generation X is stuck in jobs that don't fulfill them, but they can't quit because they have kids. They got kids in college. They have kids in elementary school. Some of us are taking care of our elder parents, baby boomer parents. We got the mortgage. We got kids' games, and we can't see a way out. We were, when the recession hit, we were the ones hit the worst. So we got all these stressors, but it's so hard to see our way out to, like we're talking about, reinventing ourselves,
Yeah.
taking on
Well,
that entrepreneurial
and to be
journey.
honest with you, I see it still in today's society. There's a whole section, especially for women, but I see it for the boys too, because I've got children growing up. So I see this kind of conflicting world. You could be anything you want to be. Oh, but you
Yes.
need to go get a job. You
Yes.
need to follow the
Totally different
rules.
mindset.
Oh, but think outside the box. You're like,
Yes.
all of these conflicting, don't eat
Yes.
chocolate. Yes, eat chocolate. You're like, ah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I love what you're talking about, because there are so few people who ever bring up Generation X. So thank you so much. I actually did a TEDx talk on Generation X just so I can put us in conversations again.
Right.
It's absolutely true. And we are trapped. We are sandwiched.
Yes.
And part of the reason we're sandwiched is because when we had our babies, oh my goodness, we loved them. We nurtured them. We coddled them within an inch of their lives. We walked them to school when they were in grade 12.
Yes.
And then we
Helicopter parents.
And then we wonder why we can't get our mortgages and whatnot paid off, because we're still looking after our 25 and 30-year-olds who are still living at home. Because, as you said, the brain is lazy. But guess what? If we have the opportunity, only a stupid person does it the hard way. So why should they leave?
Right.
They are cherished. They are adored. So now, not only are we trying to take care of ourselves in some way, because we don't matter, we're just there to serve, but now we're still paying for our millennial kids who should be paying rent or out, all 4 times. Go, little birdie, fly. And we're now taking care of our aging parents. So talk about a reason for stress. Talk about all of a sudden the booming, all the psychologies and psychotherapies and psychologists and whatnot that came out to serve us.
Yeah.
Because we don't know how to deal with that. We were taught to work and good things will come to you.
Yeah.
And now it's just work harder and work harder.
Society has changed the game. The game is, the rules of society have changed.
Yes.
And we have to change with it. There are more opportunities for us to utilize our gifts and talents that maybe organizations, for the most part, are not capitalizing off of our gifts and our talents.
Well, and I even find that people don't even know or don't even recognize their gifts and talents, right? Which is another whole problem with, I think, this kind of generation, is we've been kind of told what we should be doing, and we are like, okay, that's what we're going to do. And then all of a sudden we're like,
followers.
Yeah.
Because remember, we followed the rules. We're the kids, the latchkey kids, right? The generation of latchkey kids. So on one hand, we were very independent. We could take care of ourselves after school, make some meals and all that stuff. But we also have to follow a set of rules. And, we didn't question it. So that was a huge conflict too, Tanya. Going into work, on one hand, we're very independent. But on the other hand, we're following the rules. And that clashes, and that's why we get that unfulfillment. So, when I go into organizations and I, talk about Generation X, I'm talking about, creating programs and resources and trainings to help them deal with stressors, work stress, life stress, help them balance it a little bit more, help them to become better leaders, because we can't be leaders. We can't lead the millennials if we're stressed the heck out.
Well, and it's even the same thing with, entrepreneurs is what I see, is that they try to make things so complicated for themselves because in their mind, if, they just came from this huge organization, this huge business, and they're like, I got to do it the way I used to do it.
Yes.
Well, you don't have all those departments. You don't have all of the bureaucracy. There's so much you don't have to do anymore.
It's a totally different mindset. Because think about the 9-to-5 mindset. Okay, there's a job description when you go into a job. It's basically set up for you to succeed. You know, if there is a problem, you go to your manager, you go to your supervisor, and it's fixed. You know, abracadabra is fixed. But on your entrepreneurial journey, there is no job description. You have to evolve that, and you have to allow yourself to give yourself flexibility to use your background and skills on this new journey. You are the supervisor. You are the manager. You are the CEO. There is no box. And sometimes you will succeed, and sometimes you'll just get feedback, which people call failure, but I call it feedback. So you have to switch your 9-to-5 mentality to the entrepreneurial mindset.
Right.
Different mindset.
And do you think Rosemary? Good girl. Rosemary, I did. I was like, wait a moment. Why do I always do that? I'm like second guess myself. You know, when you see, you know, kind of the speakers or entrepreneurs kind of stepping out, you know, is there that moment that you like, oh my gosh, if you just did this one thing, this would make such a big difference? Is there like something that always comes up for you?
It's very interesting to me how people begin presentations. Some people come out and go, hi, I'm Rosemary. Thank you for having me here. I'm sorry I'm a little late because, you know, the complications and the weather's so awful, but I'm here now. So, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Other people come out and say, what do you want? Do you want? And they come out with power, and they come out with strength of conviction. Then they tell you what you might want, and then they supply it for you. Other people pussyfoot around. And this is very indicative of generations too. Mm-hmm. The personality types. You know, you've got your supporters, and you've got your controllers, and you've got your promoters, and you've got your analyzers. Just as you have to accept where your natural propensities lie, so too do you have to be prepared to as a CEO, as a speaker, you have to be prepared to change that hat, change that mindset to address the audience.
Yeah.
It's nothing about the speaker. It's about what the speaker can give to the audience.
And I think too, a lot of it is about figuring out for yourself not only what kind of community you want to develop for yourself, you know, what kind of people do you want to draw into you, but then when you're looking at, a lot of times I see a disconnect, you know, people are like, oh, I want, you know, to develop heart-centered people, but then they come to an event to speak, they get there, they do their presentation, and they leave. Well, How is that showing heart-centeredness, right? So there's a discongruence of what they're saying and what they're wanting to say, right? I'm always shocked about that.
And the thing about human behavior and human evolution is that we pick up on that. So our energy introduces us before we even open our mouths.
Absolutely right. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So if our words are not aligned with our energy, people will know that, and they'll respond to that, and it may not be in a way that you.
That's right. And the audience gets confused. Yeah. If your energy is one thing, if your body is one thing, but your words are something else, they get nothing. They get nothing. And that's all a part and parcel that you haven't come, that I haven't come. I'll stop using you language. This is wrong. That I haven't come to understand my power center. Yeah. And if I'm not coming from my power center, if I am not congruent with the reinvention I'm trying to create for myself, it's going to come out as weak, confusing, and no one will trust you. You've got to find that out.
It was very shocking because I went to an event. They had 5 stage speakers. We all had 15 minutes on stage, and it was dispersed out with 3 days. So it was mainly, you know, the main stage people that were there. It was their event, and then we had these little small vignettes, I would say. I was the only speaker that had the 15 minutes that stayed the entire 3-day event. Each person would come in stay, maybe be there about 30 minutes before, do their talk, might stay another 30 minutes to wrap up, and then they were gone. And this was supposed to be this huge heart-centered, kind of a lot of the woo-woo type of people, there was just this great group of really wanting to kind of connect type of people. But yet these people were just coming in, doing a transaction and leaving. And then so I was kind of watching, I always like to watch and see, because they all four of them had about 10 to 12 people sign up to have a conversation with them after. And there were about 50 people there. So I was like, I wonder what's going to happen, because I was at the very end of the day, on the last day. But I had already talked to everybody, right? I had already had conversations with most people there. They all kind of knew me. I elevated myself up. I dressed up a little bit more that day, got up on stage, did my thing, walked off. 95, okay, 2 people did not sign up to talk to me afterwards. And I think that's the difference, right? You're actually showing people and actually presenting yourself congruent with what you're saying, right?
And for example, just when I'm doing coaching for speakers, I tell them how absolutely important it is to schmooze in the lobby beforehand with the guests and greet them at the door when they're coming in. Shake their hand, ask them why they came and what they would like to get out of it.
Exactly.
Then even if that's not part of the presentation, you bring it up, you acknowledge, I know some of you want to hear about this and some of you want to hear about that, and I would love to talk to you about that. Please contact me. We'll have a person-to-person, or if there's lots of interest, I'll arrange for another get-together.
Well, another thing that I think really works well for me is, since I've been there the whole time, I've heard what the people said on stage, and now I could use their language, right? Because if they're saying discovery sessions, but they've been hearing strategy session, it's a discongruency because they're being taught a certain word combination. And so it's really important to me to make sure I'm using the words that they're used to hearing. And that probably has to go with something in the brain to make them feel comfortable, right?
What you two are talking about has so many underlying neuroscience and brain operations going on. I know that was one of the techniques you taught me, Tanya, was to make sure that I am available for people before I even speak, and that develops that initial relationship, that familiarity, which is actually was a survival mechanism, way back in the day, because we needed to be familiar with people to know that they would not kill us, right? Or steal our stuff, right? It was a form of, so we can nurture that. We can use that pattern in modern times, establish that familiarity, that relatedness, and people feel good. They get a burst of dopamine when they see you on stage, because they know they feel they know you already. So they're already confident and ready to receive whatever you have to say. And that's really showing up authentically as well. Is, I'm not just here on the stage for me. I'm here on the stage for you. So I want to connect with you before, during, and afterwards. That's truly showing up.
Well, and it's also building the relationship with the people who are putting the event on, because I don't want them to ever feel like this is a transaction for me. This is about a long-term relationship build. And to me, doing it the other way, it's more efficient. Yes, I'll save money that way. But really, will you? Right? I mean, I think this whole thing showed me that it doesn't work as well. Yes, you can, get down to, okay, I got 10 people. I only had to spend this much money instead of this much money. But really, is it that important? I mean, to me, it's not.
It comes down to attitude. Are you there to serve? Are you in an attitude of service? Or are you in an attitude of control?
Yeah.
If you will come on, look at me, I have the answers, All you need to do is sit there, and I shall rain wisdom down upon your head. Just assume sponge position, let it soak. Or are you there to help the audience? Why are you speaking? If you and speakers should have the audience best interest in mind.
Right.
It's not about the speaker. It's about the audience. And
it's a paradigm shift.
Yeah, it really is. And a speaker, if you want to lecture, be a professor. If you
I was a professor. I had to change how I interacted. I always thought I was an engaging professor, so it didn't take that much for me to, have that mindset of service. But no, I get
it. You cannot be a speaker and be a lecturer.
Right.
Nobody wants to be lectured to when they've come to be enlightened, reinvented, assisted, learn something from a public presentation. Now, it's different when you go to university. It's different when you are, that's a different story. But a speaker should speak with the audience, not at the audience.
Yeah, even trainings, corporate trainings, anything like that, you should be involving everybody. And I don't understand what this, there's just people that have the reservation, that's not the right word, but people are listening and interacting, and they feel like you're part of it instead of there's somebody in front of me and they're just like throwing things at me. It's just, I see it all the time. And what's interesting to me too, and this might be the brain thing for Shantae, is why is it that people who have this beautiful presentation that is just developed so much, they have it completely memorized. Everything is being offered, right? It's just like beautiful, bum, 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 bum. They're done. The crowd goes wild. They clap. And then there's no interaction with them. Nobody comes over and talks to them. Versus someone like myself, I'm not looking for a standing ovation. I want the connections. So when I get off the stage, I could tell people are still in their brain and they're still thinking about what I'm doing. And then they're all coming to line up. So they may be, yeah, that was good, but it wasn't like, yeah, jumping up and all excited and stuff. It's more, I need help. I need you to be a part of your community. I need to be a part of your world, right? Does that make sense?
That is actually a very powerful observation. I'm going to look at standing ovations in a whole nother way. I'm serious, because it's like, you're right. If they're standing up, they're not thinking about what you said anymore. Okay.
Right.
But if they have, they're clapping, they're acknowledging that you're done, but they're still processing, like you said, they're still mulling over.
Yeah.
And that's the engagement you want.
Exactly.
That's when learning is occurring, If anybody can stand up there and teach a bunch of stuff, but guess what? The only person that's really have learned anything is a person who has talked at the people, It's that engagement that you want, that processing that you want to really, have a learner.
And here's the thing, and Shantae, this is definitely your area, but we have all these different styles of learners. We have people that need the visuals. We have people that need to write. We have people that need to touch. We have all of that going on. But primarily to learn something, memorization is not learning. Memorization is I can recite it back. But learning is, can I use that information to create more information? Can I use that information to affect me? So a speaker must do so much more than just provide information. A speaker must also build into their presentation opportunities for the audience to internalize it. Mm-hmm. Talk to your elbow partner about it. Now put it in your mouth. You say it now. Use that. Okay, in your business, how would that apply? And give them an exercise to do to enforce that information and get them to use it.
Right.
Once they have used it, they will remember it. They will have learned it. Yeah. You don't learn anything by being told.
Well, and
you don't ride the bike with the forks broken. You will fall down and hurt yourself. Yes, mom. Yes, mom. Yes, mom. The minute mom's gone, out goes the bike. into the pavement. Oh, I
Love that. Well, and because I really see a lot of people that could be so huge and they're focused on the wrong things. They're focused on the ovations versus them reaction, right? And, you know, even when I go and do workshops, I was just at a huge association, you know, event. So there's 150 workshops. I mean, hello. So, and again, I was at the end of the event. There's 250 seats there. And I need to, because there's multiple ones for them to go to, I need to weed out anybody in that event that isn't going to be my good target market, right? So that I'm not just filling room with people that are going to be, oh, I don't really, you know, because you get that kind of feeling. And so I already start off with who's here who's the entrepreneur, right? And I get down to my target market, and then I make it very uncomfortable for those who aren't. And they usually get up and leave. And it's like, oh, yay, look, we got 15 people leave. I don't say that out loud, but I'm like in my, you know, heart, I'm like, yes, they're gone. You know, and most people would be like, why are they leaving? And they take it and internalize it instead of saying, thank you.
So, and that's the thing is when you have to, sometimes you have to completely reinvent your presentation depending on who sits down.
Yes, so you have
always
to be flexible. You can't be rigid in this life. And when we are rigid, we don't allow our minds to expand and our potential to expand and our message to expand. We got to roll with the punches. And that's the CEO mindset. You know, they're able to see the whole forest and see where they need to go next. You know? Exactly.
We're at the end of our time, but I want to make sure everyone can get connected to you fabulous ladies. So tell us how we can get a hold of you if you've got a free offer or something that you would like to offer everyone today. Also, make sure you put that over to the side too. So let's see, Rosemary, why don't you go first? Rosemary. I did it right.
Okay, and my phone's decided to ring, so mute me and talk to Shantae for just a minute.
Sounds good. Shantae, you go first.
All right. So, yes, I'm Shantae Javon Taylor, neuroscientist and mindset success catalyst. I am also a speaker and an author and corporate trainer as well. And what I have today is a free 3-part video series. And if you go to Mindset Business Academy, mindsetbusinessacademy.com, you can get a video series on how to train your mind for success. Because 90% of your success is about your mindset. You can have all the tools, you can have all the courses and the webinars, but if you don't change your belief systems and your thought patterns for success to implement those actions, and, you know, take on new behaviors and make new types of decisions, you know, you're not going to have the success that you imagine yourself to have. So I'm taking you through a series of steps to change your mindset, which is a set of beliefs that influences your thoughts and thus your decisions and behaviors. And I'll put that link on the side, Mindset Business Academy, and you'll receive those videos in your inbox.
Awesome. Rosemary, how about you?
Hi. Well, I would like to offer everyone the opportunity to call me, and I will be happy to meet with you for a whole hour to talk about what it is that I might be able to help you with in your speaking career. Some people need to understand that memorizing a presentation is no. Speakers, did I say no? Speakers need to understand that we are not actors. I mean, I am. My background is theater. Nevertheless, actors train for years and years and years and years and years to take the printed word, even their own, and present it as authentic. Instead, you need to learn how to create a presentation so that you can do it without electricity.
Oh, use your mental electricity.
Your mentality. Very good. So I'd love to have people call me. My phone number is 250-661-0994 or contact me at www.confidentstages.com. I would love to be able to help you make your presentation stronger, more memorable, more powerful.
Love it. All right, everybody. I also want to encourage each one of you that's listening. We've got nominations open. You've got to get yourself nominated. So especially if you want to put something into your bios, especially if you're a speaker, you want to get yourself nominated. So you go to publicspeakersconference.com, public speakers with an S, conference all spelled out.com, and you'll see it right on the homepage right there. So get yourself nominated for Collaborator of the Year, both local, national, international. And now you could use that nomination forever. And guess what? You might actually win. My panelists does not care if you are nominate yourself. So get yourself, just nominate yourself. Who cares? It's just do it. We also have a video contest running. So if you've got, a short little 5-minute or under story, a tip, or, something, your personal story, there's a whole bunch of different categories. So it's also there on the website. And we want to encourage you to come to the conference. It's June 26th through the 29th in Palm Springs, California. At the Hard Rock Hotel. We're going to have a great time. It's about connecting to the 7-figure speakers that are all my friends. We'll all get together to give real value, real information for each one of you to go further, to do more. Plus, it's also how you find speaking gigs. Everyone who wants a speaking gig will walk out with at least one. So we really want to encourage you to do that. So I'm so excited that both of y'all were on. I need y'all to come on often because you're so fabulous.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tanya. Nice to meet you, Shantae.
Likewise, Rosemary.
All right, everybody. We will be back tomorrow. Let's see. We've got, oh my goodness, we have Mark Allen. So Mark has a huge radio show. So guess who's going to be on his radio show? So I'm so excited. So he has been part of the huge film production companies, and he's just incredible, and he's so nice. So he's going to be on my show tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central Time. We want you to make sure you're there. So thank you all for being on today. And have a great rest of your week.